The slap came so suddenly that even the sound seemed to hang in the air. Amara froze, one hand on her cheek, staring at the woman who had just struck her. "You ruined my dress," the customer screamed, her voice sharp enough to cut through the hum of the laundry machines. "Do you know how much this costs?" Amara stammered. "Madam, I didn't mean to. The iron—" "Shut up!" The woman, Tomiwa, one of the wealthiest ladies in Abena town, tossed the silk gown on the floor like it was trash. "Mrs. Okiki, come out here and see what your useless maid has done." The laundry owner rushed out, wiping her hands. One look at Tomiwa's angry face, and she didn't need to hear another word. "Amara, what have you done again?" Amara's lips trembled. "It was a mistake. The iron got too hot for a moment, but I can fix." "Enough," Mrs. Okiki barked. "You've embarrassed me for the last time. Pack your things and get out of my shop." Amara's eyes widened. "Ma, please, I've nowhere to go." Tomiwa smirked, grabbing her purse. "Next time you'll learn to respect people above your level." She flicked her hair and walked out. And just like that, Amara's small world collapsed. She packed her few clothes into a nylon bag, blinking back tears. Her co-workers whispered among themselves, but no one dared defend her. By the time she stepped outside, the evening rain had begun to fall, cold and unkind. She walked for hours, her slippers soaked, her bag heavy with water. The street lights flickered weakly as she whispered to herself, "Where do I go now? God, please help me." When the rain grew stronger, she found an unfinished building near the edge of town. The walls were bare cement, the floor cold and muddy, but it was dry, and that was enough. She huddled in a corner, using her bag as a pillow. That night, as thunder rolled across the sky, Amara wept silently. "Maybe life just doesn't want me," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "I try, and I still lose everything." The next morning, the sound of men shouting woke her up. Through the cracks, she saw construction workers carrying blocks, mixing cement, and laughing. Her stomach growled. She hadn't eaten since yesterday. Driven by hunger, she approached the gate. "Please, sir," she called to the foreman. "I need work. Anything." The men laughed. One of them, covered in dust, shouted, You want to carry block? Go home, small girl." "I don't have a home," she said quietly. That shut them up for a moment, but then the foreman shook his head. "No, this work is not for women." Just then, one of the workers stumbled and fell, clutching his leg. Without thinking, Amara rushed to help. She grabbed a bucket of water, wiped his face, and called for help. Her hands were shaking, but her voice was steady. The foreman watched her for a while, then sighed. "You really want to work?" "Yes, sir," she said, her eyes firm. "Fine. Start by carrying sand. If you faint, that's your business." Amara smiled weakly. "Thank you, sir." The first few hours were brutal. The sun beat down on her as she lifted buckets of sand and fetched water. Her arms ached, her legs wobbled, but she refused to stop. The men laughed less now. Some even nodded quietly in respect. During lunch break, an older woman selling food by the site called out to her, "My daughter, come eat small rice." "You look like you haven't eaten in 2 days." Amara hesitated. "I don't have money." The woman waved her off. "Eat first. Pay when you can." Amara nearly cried as she ate the hot jollof rice. "Thank you, Ma." The woman smiled. "I'm Mama Ife. You have a strong spirit. Don't lose it." As the days passed, Amara became a regular at the site. She worked harder than anyone else, her palms blistered, but her heart growing stronger. One afternoon, a convoy of black SUVs pulled up. The foreman quickly adjusted his helmet. "The Ogia has come," he whispered. Amara looked up and saw Mr. Leonard step out. Tall, neat and calm. He wore a simple white shirt, but carried himself with quiet authority. The workers greeted him with respect. Leonard's eyes swept the sight, then stopped on Amara. "Who is that?" he asked. The foreman chuckled nervously. "Ah, sir, that one small girl way say she won work. I told her it's men's work, but she no gree." Leonard watched as Amara lifted another bucket of sand. Sweat rolled down her face, but her expression was steady. "She works hard," Leonard said softly. "What's her name?" "Amara, sir." Later that day, Leonard called the foreman aside. "Tell her to come see me before she leaves." Amara's heart raced when she heard. She cleaned her hands and approached him carefully. "Good evening, sir." Leonard smiled. "You're Amara, right?" "Yes, sir." "I heard you've been sleeping at the site." She looked down. I had nowhere else to go. But it's fine, sir. I'll find somewhere soon." He studied her for a moment. "You remind me of someone, my mother. She worked hard too." He paused. "Listen, Amara, I have a small guest room at my house. You can stay there until you find your feet. It's safer than here." Her eyes widened. "Sir, I can't. I don't want to be a burden," he smiled. "It's not charity. It's just kindness." She hesitated, then nodded slowly. "Thank you, sir." That night, she followed his driver home. When the car stopped at the gate of a beautiful mansion, she gasped softly. The lights, the gardens. It was another world. Inside, she met Belinda, Leonard's fiancée. Her beauty was undeniable, but so was the coldness in her eyes. "Who is she?" Belinda asked sharply. Leonard replied calmly, "Someone who needs help." Belinda forced a smile, but her tone dripped with disdain. "Of course. How noble of you." Amara bowed slightly. "Good evening, Ma." Belinda looked her up and down. Just make sure she doesn't forget her place." That night, Amara lay awake in the softest bed she'd ever felt. Gratitude filled her heart, but so did fear. "God," she whispered, "please don't let this kindness turn against me." If you're still watching, my friend, hit the like button and drop a comment to encourage more inspiring stories like this. Because what happens next in Amara's life will shock you. The next morning, Amara woke up before dawn, afraid that if she stayed too long in bed, someone would remind her she didn't belong there. She quietly folded the blanket, washed her face, and tiptoed to the kitchen. The chef, a plump woman with bright eyes, nearly jumped when she saw her. "Ah, who are you?" "I'm Amara, Ma. Mr. Leonard said I could stay here for a few days. Please, I just want to help." The chef relaxed a bit. You're the one from the site, eh?" "I heard." "Well, help me with the yam. At least you can peel, Abby." "Yes, Ma," Amara said quickly, grateful to be useful. As she peeled the yam, she could hear Belinda's sharp voice echoing from upstairs. "Leonard, you didn't even tell me you were bringing a stranger to our house. What if she steals something?" Leonard's calm reply floated down. "Belinda, she's not a stranger. She's just a girl who needs help." "A girl who needs help doesn't move into another woman's fiancé's house," Belinda snapped. Amara's heart thudded painfully. She bent her head lower and focused on the yam. The chef glanced at her and sighed. "My dear, don't mind Madam. She's like that. Just do your work." Later that day, Leonard came down in a navy blue suit, his cologne filling the air. "Amara," he said gently, "I'm heading to the site. Do you want to come with me? There's work if you're still willing." Her face brightened. "Yes, sir. Please." Belinda descended the stairs slowly, her eyes icy. "You're taking her where, Leonard?" He smiled faintly. "She was working at the site before I found her. I'm just giving her a chance to continue." Belinda folded her arms. A billionaire giving a laborer a chance. How touching. Leonard ignored her and walked out. Amara followed quietly, avoiding Belinda's burning stare. At the construction site, the workers greeted Leonard with respect. Amara rolled up her sleeves, ready to work. "Ah, Madam Engineer," one of the men joked. "You done come again?" She laughed lightly. "Leave me, oh." Work no day choose face. Even Leonard smiled at that. He admired her resilience. Something about her reminded him of simpler times, before money complicated his life. Around midday, he called her over. "Come, take this." He handed her a lunch pack. "You've been working since morning." Amara blinked. "Sir? I can't take your food." "Then take it as a friend's offer," Leonard said. "Everyone deserves to eat." She hesitated, then accepted it with a soft smile. "Thank you, sir." From that day on, Amara became a quiet presence around Leonard's work life. She helped the staff, took notes, and even offered smart suggestions. One afternoon, she noticed a pile of unused blocks near the fence. "Sir," she said shyly, "if you move those blocks there, it'll stop the rainwater from spoiling the foundation." Leonard's engineer double-checked and nodded. "She's right, sir." Leonard smiled. "Seems I've hired more than just a laborer." When they returned home, Belinda was waiting by the door. "Oh, look at you two," she said sweetly, but her eyes flashed. "The construction princess and her boss." Amara bowed slightly. "Good evening, Ma." "Save it," Belinda said coldly. "Next time, try not to follow my fiancé around all day like a lost puppy." Amara froze. Leonard frowned. "Belinda, that's enough." She smirked. "Is it? Or are you enjoying her company too much?" Leonard didn't reply. He just walked past her, his silence sharper than words. That night, Amara sat in her small room, staring at the ceiling. "God, why does she hate me so much?" she whispered. There was a soft knock on the door. Leonard's voice came through. "Amara, are you awake?" She jumped up, straightening her dress. "Yes, sir." He stepped in slightly, holding a file. "I just wanted to thank you for today. You saved us a lot of money with that observation. You've got a good eye." "Thank you, sir. I just like to notice small things." He smiled. "That's a gift. Don't lose it." As he turned to leave, she said quietly, "Sir, I'll move out soon. I don't want to cause trouble between you and Madam." He paused. "Amara, listen. You've done nothing wrong. People sometimes fear what they don't understand. Just stay focused." When he left, Amara sat back on the bed, confused. Why did his words feel so comforting? Days turned into weeks. Amara became indispensable at the site. Trusted, respected, and liked. Even the workers teased her like a sister. But at home, Belinda's hostility grew colder. One evening, as Leonard and Amara returned from the site, Belinda was in the kitchen, her smile tight. "Amara, come. I made juice for you. You've worked hard." Amara blinked in surprise. "Thank you, Ma." She took the glass, but before she could drink, the chef walked in. "Ah, Amara, I've been looking for you. Mr. Leonard said you should taste the stew he made himself." Amara smiled and set the juice down. "I'll drink it later." Belinda's eyes darkened, but she forced a laugh. "No problem." That night, the chef came to her room in a whisper. "My daughter, don't ever take food from that woman, again." Amara's heart jumped. "Why, Ma!" The woman's eyes darted around. "I don't know what she put in that juice, but I saw her mixing something before you came in. Be careful." Amara couldn't sleep. Her hands shook as she remembered the glass on the table. God, what did I get myself into? The next morning, Leonard noticed her pale face. "Amara, are you sick?" "No, sir," she said quickly. "Just tired." but her trembling hands betrayed her. He frowned. "Something's wrong. Tell me." Tears welled in her eyes. "Sir, I think someone wants to harm me." Leonard's expression hardened. "Who?" She hesitated. "Please, sir, don't ask me. I might be wrong." He took a deep breath. "All right. But from now on, you'll eat only what the chef prepares, and no one else is to serve you. Understood?" Amara nodded, her throat tight. Belinda's temper exploded that night when she realized Leonard had restricted her from entering the kitchen. So now she controls what happens in my own house. "Leonard, that girl is ruining everything." He replied coldly, "No, Belinda. You're ruining everything." Her eyes burned with humiliation. "You'll regret this," she hissed, storming upstairs. Amara overheard from the hallway, her heart pounding. She knew things would only get worse. But what she didn't know was that fate was just about to turn again, in a way neither she nor Leonard could have imagined. If you're still watching this far, my friend, show Amara some love. Hit that like button and tell me in the comments if you think she should leave or stay. Because what happens next will test her strength like never before. The morning air in Leonard's mansion was heavy, not with silence, but with tension. Even the staff walked on eggshells. Belinda had barely spoken since the argument, and when she did, her words dripped with venom. Amara kept to herself. She cleaned her small room, helped the chef in the kitchen, and went straight to the construction site each day. The workers noticed she smiled less now, but she still gave her all. One afternoon, as the sun blazed high, Leonard arrived at the site earlier than usual. "Amara," he called, "can we talk for a minute?" She wiped her hands nervously and followed him to a shaded corner. "Don't be afraid," he said softly. "I've noticed you've been quieter. Is Belinda still troubling you?" Amara shook her head quickly. "No, sir. I just don't want to cause more problems." Leonard looked at her for a long moment. "You have a kind heart, but don't let fear make you small." She lowered her gaze. "Sometimes, sir, being small is the only way to survive." Leonard smiled faintly. "Not always. I grew up poor too, Amara. My mother sold fruits at the market while I followed her barefoot. People laughed at us, but she used to tell me, 'You can bend, but don't break.'" Amara's lips curved into a small smile. She must have been a strong woman. She was. You remind me of her. The way he said it made something flutter in Amara's chest. She quickly looked away. "Thank you, sir." Later that evening, as she walked home from the site, two women at the gate whispered loudly, "That's the maid who's been living with Olga Leonard. You know, the one Belinda wants out." I even heard she's trying to take Belinda's place." Amara's heart twisted. She hurried past without looking at them, pretending not to hear. But their words followed her like shadows. At dinner, Belinda's cold smile returned. "So, Amara, I heard people at the site are talking about you. Seems you're quite the celebrity now." Amara froze. I don't know what you mean, Ma." Belinda leaned closer. "Oh, come on. Everyone knows how close you and Leonard have become. Don't act innocent." Leonard's fork clattered against his plate. "Belinda, enough!" She smirked, enjoying the sting. "Why are you shouting? Did I lie?" Leonard stood. "We'll finish this later." He walked out. The chef quickly touched Amara's arm. "Eat, my dear. Don't let wickedness steal your strength." Amara forced a small smile, but her appetite was gone. That night, she packed her small nylon bag again. She couldn't stay here anymore. Before dawn, she slipped out quietly, leaving a short note on the table. "Sir, thank you for everything. but I can't keep bringing trouble to your home. May God bless you for your kindness. Amara. By the time Leonard came down for breakfast, she was gone. Where's Amara? He asked. The chef's face fell. She left, sir. Said she didn't want more trouble. Leonard's heart sank. He grabbed his keys and ran out, ignoring Belinda's mocking laughter. Let her go. Maybe now you'll focus on what matters. But Leonard didn't stop. He drove through Abena, searching every street, asking shopkeepers and workers if they'd seen her. Hours passed. No sign of her. Meanwhile, Amara was miles away, walking along a dusty road with blistered feet. She stopped by a stream to wash her face, exhaustion pressing on her like a weight. Just then, a familiar voice called out. Amara. She turned. It was Mama Ife, the food seller from the site. My daughter? Where have you been? I was worried. Amara's eyes filled with tears. I left the city, Mama. I had to. Mama Ife shook her head. You can't run forever. But come, let's go home first. You need food. At Mama Ife's small house, Amara helped cook and sell food at the roadside. Days turned into weeks. The pain of leaving Leonard slowly dulled, but deep down, she missed him terribly. One afternoon, as she served a customer, a sleek car pulled over. She froze. Leonard stepped out. The world seemed to stop. Amara, he said, his voice softer than she remembered. You disappeared. Tears stung her eyes. I didn't want to, sir. I just didn't belong there. He stepped closer. You belong anywhere you work hard for, and you belonged in my home, because you earned that respect. Mama Ife smiled knowingly. This man has come for his destiny. Amara wiped her eyes. Sir, please. I don't want more problems. Leonard sighed. Belinda and I are done. She showed me who she truly is. I should have ended it long ago. Amara gasped. You broke up with her? Yes. When you left, the house felt empty. And for once, I realized peace isn't found in wealth. It's found in people who make you breathe easy. Amara looked away, trembling. Sir, I don't know what to say. He smiled gently. Then don't say anything. Just come back. But not as a maid, as my assistant. You have a good mind, and I need someone I can trust. Mama Ife clapped her hands. Ahan, God has done it. Didn't I tell you, my daughter, good people never finish last? Amara hesitated, tears falling freely. Thank you, sir. I'll come. The following week, she moved into a small office apartment beside Leonard's company. She helped manage files, supervise workers, and soon earned the respect of everyone. Her transformation amazed those who once mocked her. But Belinda wasn't done. One evening, Amara left work late. As she crossed the parking lot, a car screeched to a stop beside her. The door flew open. It was Belinda. Her eyes were wild, mascara smeared. So this is where you're hiding now? Belinda hissed. You think you can take everything from me? Amara stepped back, fear gripping her. Please, Ma, I don't want trouble. Belinda pulled something from her purse. A small bottle. If I can't have peace, neither will you. Before Amara could react, Belinda lunged, but a strong hand grabbed her wrist. Leonard. He'd come back for his forgotten briefcase. Enough, he barked. Belinda, what are you doing? She froze, trembling. The bottle dropped and shattered on the ground, the sharp smell of chemicals filling the air. Leonard's voice was cold. You could have hurt her. Or worse. Belinda's face crumbled. She ruined us, Leonard. She took you from me. He shook his head. No, Belinda. You lost me the day you chose hate over love. Security escorted her away as Amara stood shaking, tears in her eyes. Leonard turned to her, his voice softening. Are you okay? Amara nodded weakly. Yes, sir. I'm fine. Just scared. He took a deep breath. You're safe now. I promise." That night, as she sat by her window, the city lights twinkled below. Amara whispered, "God, you really haven't forgotten me. If you're still here, my friend, this story isn't done yet. Hit that like button and tell me, do you believe true kindness can change destiny? Because what happens next will show you that sometimes pain is the doorway to purpose." Days passed, and slowly the storm began to calm. Belinda was out of the picture for good, and Leonard's life returned to a peaceful rhythm. Yet, something had changed, not just in him, but in Amara, too. She wasn't the timid girl who once slept on a cold cement floor. She had grown, stronger, wiser, more confident. One morning, Leonard called her into his office. "Amara," he began, glancing at the folders she'd neatly arranged on his desk. "I've been thinking about something." She smiled nervously. "Did I do something wrong, sir?" He chuckled softly. "No, quite the opposite. You've done more than I ever expected. The site is more efficient now. The workers respect you. Even the investors keep asking about the young lady who runs things quietly behind the scenes." Amara laughed shyly. "They exaggerate, sir. I just try my best." Leonard leaned forward. "And that's exactly what makes you different." He paused for a moment, choosing his words carefully. "Amara, when I met you, you were covered in dust and tears. But even then, you had a spark. I saw someone who refused to give up." Her heart pounded. She didn't know what to say. "I won't lie," Leonard continued, his tone sincere. "You've changed my life, too. You reminded me what it means to be human, to care, to give, to see people for who they are, not where they come from." Amara blinked rapidly, trying to hold back tears. "Sir, you're too kind. You don't know how much your help meant to me. You gave me a roof, a chance. You gave me dignity." He smiled softly. "Then maybe it's time I give you something else." Her brows furrowed. "Sir?" Leonard took a deep breath. "A future. With me." Amara froze. The words didn't register at first. I don't understand." He stood up, walked around the desk, and faced her. "Amara, I've spent months trying to deny it. I told myself it was just admiration or gratitude. But the truth is, I love you." Her breath caught. "Sir, you can't mean that. I'm a man who's finally found peace," he said firmly. "And that peace is you." Tears welled in her eyes. "Sir, people will talk. They'll say I trapped you." Leonard smiled faintly. "Let them talk. I know my heart." Amara looked down, her voice trembling. "All my life, people have treated me like nothing. But you saw me. You believed in me. I don't even know if I deserve this kind of love." He lifted her chin gently. "You do, Amara. You deserve everything good this world has to offer." At that moment, she couldn't hold back her tears. She cried, not from sadness, but from relief. For the first time in her life, she felt seen, valued, loved. Weeks later, their quiet bond became the talk of the town. Some gossiped, others praised their courage, but Leonard didn't care. Who introduced Amara at a company event, not as his worker, but as the woman he loved. The applause that followed drowned out the whispers. A few months later, their wedding was small but beautiful, filled with people who had witnessed Amara's journey from pain to peace. Mama Ife cried the loudest, waving her wrapper and shouting, "God Don Doam! My daughter Don make me proud!" As Amara walked down the aisle in a simple white gown, Leonard's eyes never left hers. It wasn't a fairy tale filled with castles or crowns, but it was real. Two souls who had found each other through pain and perseverance. After the wedding, Leonard surprised her again. "Amara," he said one evening, handing her a brown envelope. "This is for you." She opened it and gasped. It was a letter of admission. "University of Abena," she read aloud. "Sir, what is this?" He smiled. "You once told me you wanted to finish school, but life didn't let you. Now it will. You're enrolling next semester." Amara covered her mouth, overwhelmed. "You're sending me to school?" Leonard nodded. "Education gave me my voice. Now it's your turn. And when you're done, we'll build something together, something that changes lives." Tears spilled down her cheeks. "Thank you, Leonard. You've turned my broken story into a blessing." She studied hard, balancing her marriage, work, and school. Her determination inspired many, especially young girls who once thought their dreams were impossible. 3 years later, Amara graduated with honors. On the day of her convocation, Leonard stood in the crowd, clapping the loudest as she received her degree. After the ceremony, she took the microphone and said, her voice steady but full of emotion, "I was once a homeless girl who slept in an unfinished building. I thought life had forgotten me. But I've learned that sometimes the people we meet are not coincidences. They're God's way of showing mercy." The audience applauded, and tears rolled down many faces. A year later, Amara fulfilled her promise. She launched Amara Foundation for Girls, a nonprofit dedicated to helping orphaned and underprivileged girls get education and shelter. The opening ceremony drew media attention. Cameras flashed as she stood beside Leonard, smiling with pride. Reporters surrounded her. "Mrs. Leonard, what inspired this foundation?" She smiled softly. "Because I was once like them, lost, hungry, and invisible. But one act of kindness changed my life. Now I want to multiply that kindness 1,000 times over." That night, she stood on the balcony of their home, watching the stars. Leonard joined her, wrapping his arm gently around her shoulders. "You did it," he whispered. She leaned against him. "No, we did it. You gave me a chance, and I found my purpose." He smiled. "So, what's next for the foundation?" She laughed. "Bigger dreams, more girls, more hope. Because if a maid like me can find love and purpose, anyone can." Leonard kissed her forehead. "You've made me the proudest man alive." The night was quiet, except for the sound of distant crickets. Amara looked up at the stars and whispered, "Thank you, God, for turning my pain into a story of grace." Then she turned to the camera crew filming for her foundation's promo and smiled. "If you're watching this, remember, never give up. Your story isn't over yet. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs hope tonight. Because kindness," she said, smiling, "is the greatest miracle of all." And just like that, her story, once marked by rejection, hunger, and tears, became a living proof that destiny can rise from the ashes, and love can bloom where least expected. She wasn't just Amara the maid anymore. She was Amara Leonard, a woman reborn through grace, courage, and kindness.